Also, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele at the White House.
Bukele became the first Latin American leader to meet Trump since he returned to the office in January earlier this year. Ahead of the meeting, all eyes were on whether Bukele or Trump would commit to bringing back an El Salvador migrant, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was erroneously deported to El Salvador. Speaking to reporters at the Oval Office, Bukele ruled out Kilmar's return, saying he did not have the power to return him to the United States.
The question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Responding to questions on deporting alleged illegal criminals to El Salvador, Trump praised Bukele for building a massive jail and these complexes, and said he would send as many people living in the U.S. illegally to El Salvador as possible.
As many as possible. And I just asked the president, it's this massive complex that he built, jail complex. I said, can you build some more of them, please? As many as we can get out of our country that were allowed in here by incompetent Joe Biden.
Even as Trump and Bukele held their bilateral meet, the family of Kilmar Abrego Garcia and his supporters gathered outside the White House to demand his return to the United States.
And when government breaks the law, when they deport someone to a place that they should not deport them to, the government has to make amends. It was their mistake. It was their fault. They have to make it right. Yes. They have to make it right. Justice. So what we're asking them to do is what we would ask anyone to do. Is if you've made a mistake, you own up to it and you make it right. And guess what? Our government has the ability to make it right. And so we ask, we beg, we pray that we bring Kilmar home. Bring Kilmar home. Bring Kilmar home. Bring Kilmar home.
Now, protesters also gathered outside the Salvadoran embassy in Washington to protest against Kilmar's deportation. Protesters expressed fear about El Salvador becoming the new concentration camp.
So that's why our community is so concerned about this case. We were already facing fear from all the ICE raids and all this persecution of immigrants, especially the Latino community. So that's why we are here, and we'll keep fighting, standing up for human rights and for our communities.
The Trump administration has deported hundreds of people, mostly Venezuelans, to El Salvador under the 1798 Alien Enemies Act, including Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland resident. The Trump administration has acknowledged deporting Kilmar by mistake.
Now, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen to this.
President Donald Trump hosted El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele at the White House, marking Bukele as the first Latin American leader to visit during President Trump's second term. The meeting centered on immigration and security cooperation, with both leaders praising one another's efforts. A significant point of contention was the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland resident mistakenly deported to an El Salvador prison facility. Despite a U.S. Supreme Court order to facilitate his return, both Trump and Bukele refused, citing alleged gang affiliations, though no evidence has been presented, at least not until now. Trump also proposed the controversial idea of deporting violent U.S. citizens to El Salvador's prisons, but said that the move needs to be legally assessed first. The meeting underscores a deepening alliance between the two nations on immigration policies and national security. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.